Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Zelda Corner. So hopefully we get some news on Breath of the Wild 2 here really soon. And at the time of recording this video, there's been no news at all on Breath of the Wild 2 and when it could be coming out. But I have many hopes for this game. Breath of the Wild 1 was amazing, but I feel that there are some elements that Nintendo could implement to really bring Breath of the Wild 2 to the next level. So, here are 5 features that Breath of the Wild 2 needs to have. So first off, Breath of the Wild's sequel needs to have more boss enemies. In the first game, we did have a lot of different variations of minor enemies out and about in the world of Hyrule. When it comes to game's main bosses, there weren't that many bosses. There were actually a total of 5 bosses. There was Windblight Ganon, Fireblight Ganon, Thunderblight Ganon, Waterblight Ganon, and Calamity Ganon / Dark Beast Ganon. And now, these bosses were hard and each boss fight was unique and fun in its own right, but I felt like I was missing what was in past Zelda games. I love that each boss in the past games had different ways of being taken down and featured a broader range of attacks, and I loved how you had to utilize the dungeon's different items to beat them. And I would love to see a more broad array of unique and interesting dungeon bosses in Breath of the Wild 2 that really sets themselves apart from Breath of the Wild 1's bosses. Second, while I love Breath of the Wild shrines and all the interesting ways that you could solve them, Breath of the Wild 2 needs more variations of dungeons. One of the things that I absolutely love about The Legend of Zelda is its variations of amazing and unique dungeons. Now, while I did like dungeons in the first Breath of the Wild, the only dungeons that I felt were unique were the 4 divine beasts. These dungeons required you to really think outside the box and really gave you quite the challenge. A lot of the shrines in Breath of the Wild were great, but I felt like they were a little bit of copy and paste to me. So seeing a broader dungeon variation would be huge for this game, because that is really what I feel makes a Zelda game, is its unique and interesting and challenging dungeons. And third, I feel that Breath of the Wild's sequel could have more unique and interesting side quests. Now, don't get me wrong, Breath of the Wild 1 had some great, pretty decent side quests, and they were all unique and challenging, but I feel that some of the side quests could have been a little harder, and we could have had a more broad range of them, a more wide array of different types of side quests. I would love to see side quests that borrow a page from Majora's Mask. This game had such unique and interesting side quests that were all different and so well written that you really wanted to track down each and every side quest in the game to fully experience what the game had to offer. I would love to see this implemented in Breath of the Wild sequel. More unique side quests with more meaningful objectives and rewards would be a huge part of the sequel that I feel could really take this game to the next level. And speaking of next level, I feel that co-op play is something that the Zelda series desperately needs, and if we could play as both Zelda and Link in Breath of the Wild 2, then that would be a truly amazing experience to be able to switch back and forth between Zelda and Link and solve puzzles and get through dungeons. Like I stated in the previous video, I love playing as Link, but imagine the unique puzzles and dungeons you could have if there was co-op play. If there was play between Link and Zelda, first of all, you could have a 2-player Zelda game, which would be amazing in its own right. But second of all, this could open up a unique and interesting storyline for the game. Imagine the possibilities if Link and Zelda could both be playable in a final battle. That would be truly insane, and honestly probably one of the best final battles in a Zelda game. And finally, the 5th and final feature that I would like to see in Breath of the Wild 2 is a longer story. Breath of the Wild 1, while a fresh breath of air, honestly, pun intended there, but I really did find myself missing the interesting story that the Zelda series usually brings to the table. I think Nintendo could find a way to implement a bigger story into Breath of the Wild 2. Then, honestly, if they could do that, that would really bring Breath of the Wild 2 to the next level and make it even better than it's already going to be. Imagine a story where you can have a broad and expansive open world to explore that story and its different elements. I mean, that could be a huge story, which might be why the game's taking a while. Maybe they're doing that. But that would be amazing. So, which of these features would you like to see in Breath of the Wild's sequel? I mean, are there any features that you would like to see that weren't mentioned in today's video? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed today's Zelda video, then please consider smashing that subscribe button for more Zelda content just like this every single week. Also, turn on that bell to be notified when I upload new Zelda content every single Friday. Thank you all so much for watching today's Zelda video, and I will see you all next week in a brand new video here on the Zelda Corner.